Hey, good afternoon, guys. This is Clay with Clay's AC and Auto Repair and Clay Motion here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and this is the Clay Way. If you find this video helpful, please subscribe, click the notification, share my videos, send me your wonderful comments right down below. And if you want to reach out to me, you can hit me up on Clay's AC and Auto Repair on the Facebook. Today we're going to show you something totally awesome. I looked over the web, couldn't find anybody talking about turbos. We're ordering turbos and doing a little bit of rebuilding. Jeff, which you guys know from watching the videos, has worked with me for a number of years. His name's Jeff Powie. He's kind of the turbo expert here at the shop. I don't know a ton, but he's taught me a lot. And we're going to show you how to rebuild the turbo in a Mazda CX-7. And we're going to talk to you about a couple different ways you can do it. There's a couple different things that you can do in this situation. You can buy the complete turbo, which is going to come with this half of the unit, and then you would take a banjo bolt off that holds the turbo together right here. Or you can buy the center section, which is about, I don't know, it depends on where you're getting it from, but is generally about half the price. This is generally the only component that fails unless the component has failed really bad. And we're going to explain that to you here in a little bit in the video. And then there's a third option that you can buy all the rebuild, the spindle, or not the spindle, I'm sorry, the bushings and stuff to rebuild this. I don't recommend doing that at home because then the shaft needs to be balanced. So to avoid that, we've got a balanced shaft, we've got the center portion of the turbo, and as long as our turbo housing is not damaged, like we're going to show you a damaged turbo housing, and we're going to show you some stuff that you can look for inside the turbo housing to actually do that. And we're going to just show you simply how to put this together. Putting it together is fairly simple. You need to make sure everything's clean and stuff like that. And Jeff's going to explain that much better than I can. So I'm going to bring him in. Okay, so one of the first things that we need to check for on turbos when we're looking for something defunct with it is we want to grab the inside of the impeller and move it back and forth. And I'm sorry that this one doesn't move in and out like it used to, but if it has, you know, more than a molecule, like 1/16 of an inch of play, it's probably bad. If you move it up and down or in and out like this, it's probably got bad bushings inside it and they need to be replaced. We're going to tear this one apart and show you, you know, and talk to you about what you would do if you're going to rebuild this. We're not rebuilding this, obviously, we're replacing it. And that's where Jeff's going to come in. He's going to show you that part and show you the disassembly and show you the, you know, what happened with this particular unit and why we're not rebuilding this one. We got another one set off to the side over there. We're going to show you to rebuild that. Okay, so I also want to point out that if you need some turbo pieces, give us a call or whatever. You can look us up on the Facebook. Cameron's going to put in a card link to our Amazon store, and if we start an eBay shop, we'll have a link to that as well. And you can buy this housing from us, or you can buy the complete turbo from us.
Okay, today I'm going to show you, this is a KO422 turbo. Pretty common turbo on most small vehicles with 4 cylinders. The section we're going to concentrate on right now is the center section, also known as the cartridge. It's a very simple design to disassemble it. Now be very careful because these blades are really sharp and you will slice your fingers. Now I have already disassembled this one so it'll come right apart. First is your top nut. You're going to take that and it's reverse threaded. This one happens to be a 10 millimeter. You'll find 8 millimeter, 13 millimeter, depends on the size of the turbo. But it is they are always reverse threaded. You're going to take that nut off and you're going to work the wheel off by just spinning it. There's your wheel. Now you can see all the oil. That means the oil control rings have also gone bad in this turbo. It's allowing oil to come from the center section up into the intake. And you'll cause smoke. If you have smoking issues, good chance it's going to be your turbo and the oil control rings. You're going to set the other side. You're going to take and tap this out. And there's your main shaft and your heat shield. Heat shield is very important on a turbo. You can melt things. Now on the rear of this one, you can also see that there was a little bit of oil residue inside the housing, so we know that this one was also leaking. And there's this little surface area that you can see, this little ring right here. That's the oil control ring, and that is the only thing that prevents oil from passaging from the bearing surface into where your combustion chamber, where the actual turbo works. Now you can see on here, right there is where the bearings sit, and you can't really see it on the camera, but it's scarred up pretty bad. So we know that this turbo cannot be rebuilt, not with this shaft or this cartridge. Now inside here, you're gonna pop this off. This is the top part of your thrust bearing. These are very typical of what goes bad in a turbo. And inside here, you got a little shield that directs oil, flows it back inside. There's the center section of your thrust bearing. And on this one, you can see that there is a lot of wear right here where this rides. And it captures, this collar captures this bearing in between there and the second bearing, part of the bearing down there. And there's the second part. Inside here, you're gonna find a couple of little C-clip rings, and you pop those out, and there's tiny little brass bushings that come out, and those are your main bearings. We're not gonna pull those out because they're frankly a pain in the butt to get out, and we don't need to on this cartridge. But that is how a turbo is built. No matter the size of the turbo, they're all built almost identically internally. It's a very simple process. And to rebuild these, you gotta take those bearings out. You have to hone the surfaces, measure them, measure your bearings, make sure that there is less than 500 thousandths of an inch, or no.
500,000. It'd be 5/10 of, or no, not 5/10.
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the exact.
Anyways, it doesn't matter. We're not rebuilding it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But we thought we'd give you a little explanation. I think Jeff did a great job. I know more about turbos right now than I did 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago. So that's cool.
Honestly, if you're going to do this at home, I would not recommend trying to rebuild the cartridge. It is a very delicate process with balancing these shafts, because if they are not perfectly balanced, the turbo will come apart, and it'll come apart fast.
And it'll come apart quickly within, within miles. So there's no sense in wasting your time. If a cartridge is affordable, you can always try it. I always say you can't break what's already broken. So, it doesn't hurt to try something. But if you're in a situation where the rebuild kit's $40 and the cartridge is $120, you're better off getting the cartridge. Trust us.
Yeah, because you're talking RPMs of 200,000+ RPM on these things. They spin fast, and they have to be perfectly balanced. So your best bet is just to buy a center section, or what they call a cartridge. And that's what we're going to show you next, is the process of just replacing the center section. Typically, the housings don't go bad. If the turbo comes apart and the wheels make contact with the surfaces, then you're talking replacing the entire turbo. But if they have not made any contact, or very, very light contact, you can polish the surface out and just put a whole new cartridge, and it won't affect the performance of the turbo that much.
Okay, so the reason I'm adding all of this to the video is because I think not only knowing what is broken, but knowing why it's broken is great information to have. So Jeff's going to explain to us exactly what happens when they're rebuilding that.
Okay, when they rebuild the turbo, when we talked about the balancing of the shaft, when you balance a shaft, because these things spin it at over 200,000 RPMs, balance is very important on these wheels. And there's a special machine that they use, and they assemble the rotating assembly. And that's your collar, your shaft, your compressor wheel, and your turbine wheel. And what it does is it sits on a little cradle, and with magnets, it floats this thing between 2 points, and they'll put a little tiny weight on the side of it, and mark it, and then a puff of air will spin this thing up to about 10,000 RPM on the machine. And with an optical sensor, it detects minute vibrations, and the computer will tell the tech where to machine this wheel and where to machine this wheel. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little grind mark right there, and there's a little grind mark right there. That is from balancing, and they take just microscopic amounts of material off the backs of the wheels so that there's no vibration, because at those kind of speeds, any vibration is going to cause catastrophic failure. So that is why you really don't want to rebuild a cartridge yourself. That should be saved. You send it out to a turbo shop. Okay, now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of actually what we're going to do. What we got here is one of the old turbos. Now I've already taken this apart, so it's kind of loose and wobbly. Now the first thing you do when you take the turbo off the vehicle, your cooling lines and oil lines are still going to be attached into these various points. You're going to mark rotation. This is very, very, very important. And it's really simple to do. You're going to take a punch. Now, here's your oil inlet. Always mark your compressor housing to your oil inlet, because this is the inside, this is the inside. And and that's easy to remember. You're just going to take a small punch and you're going to line it up with a center, and you're going to make a small mark here. And then on the flip side of it, you'll flip it over and you'll punch a small mark right here on the oil drain, because this is your exit, this is your exit. It's easy to remember. So once you mark, you'll punch those, and I've got those punched already on the turbo that we're actually rebuilding. This is just a junk one, it's identical to it. And use your phone. Take pictures of where your cooling tubes and what direction they go. Because when you go back to put it on the vehicle, if you got the tubes in the wrong place, nothing's gonna fit right. So, first thing to do after you mark that is you're gonna remove this band clamp. It's gonna be right around this. It's an 8mm bolt, sometimes they can be 10s, the size doesn't really matter. And then you're gonna take a hammer and you're gonna hammer right along the edge of this housing all the way around, and eventually it will work its way off. And then you'll flip it over and you'll have a few bolts along here with tabs, and there are gonna be these little tabs right here, 10mm bolts. They just sit, you'll unscrew those and you'll pop the housing off. And as you can see on the inside of this, it's had oil leaking right here, and the wheel is rubbed against the cartridge that it showed you previously. It was wobbling and it rubbed the housing. The housing is savable with some polishing, but we don't need to because our other housing is in good shape. Now once you get this part, I put it kind of back together. Like I said, you'll hammer it apart. I don't actually have my hammer available, and it'll come apart and you'll have the entire cartridge in your hand, this cartridge here. As you can see, it's identical. Now, we're gonna set this off to the side and we're gonna show you how to replace the cartridge. We're gonna put the new cartridge in. Okay, first thing you do when you reassemble, get your housing all cleaned up. You can see this one's fairly clean. I put my greasy hands all over it, but the biggest part is make sure that the inside is clean. Take brake clean, and you'll have residue up inside the snail up here. And you want these surfaces nice and clean because this is where the air flows, and the smoother the airflow, the better your turbo is going to work. You can take your center section. This is our brand new center section. Find your oil inlet. Here is your oil inlet right there. These are your coolant tubes on this side and this side, and there's your oil outlet. Find your mark on your housing. Now I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a tiny little pin mark right there, and that marks the center of my inlet. You'll take that and very carefully, you don't want to, those fins are pretty delicate on those things, and you seat it down in there. Oh, forgot one very important part. Put your O-ring in there. If you lose the O-ring, you can use RTV, very, very thin layer right just around this outer edge right here, and that'll also work. Now you take your center section. Now the reason why we put the center section into the turbine or the compressor housing first is these fins are aluminum on this side, and they're very, very, very delicate. These are a high nickel steel and can withstand a little more punishment if you happen to knock it around a little bit. But you make sure that the center of this is lined up with the center of your dot. Now once you got that, you're going to set it down. You're going to take your little tabs, start screwing them in, and once you get them all the way around, you're going to go around and you're going to tighten them all down. Now they don't have to be super tight because they're only 10mm bolts, and it's only holding the compressor housing to it. Doesn't take a whole lot of force, but make sure you get them tight. And we got one more to go, and then I'm going to go ahead and tighten down. We're not going to show you, the actual tightening down and all that. That's just waste time. So we'll be back with you in just a second, and we'll go ahead and put her on the turbine housing. Okay, now we're going to get to the turbine housing. This is the business end of the turbo. It's pretty simple. That's cast iron. You can probably figure that out. That's your wastegate. This will open up as exhaust pressure increases and manifold pressure increases. It opens up an actuator, which allows exhaust to escape through here, slowing the turbo down so you don't overspool. Now when you take this apart, you want to make sure that this flapper operates smoothly, which this one does. You want to make sure the flapper wheel is moving around. And then you inspect down in here, make sure you look for cracks. Because this one here, the old turbo had several cracks in there. Now you can repair them, but it takes some time and some skill. And clean up your gasket surfaces. This is for your catalytic converter. It bolts onto the side. And very important though, you got to get this area clean. If you have a sandblaster available to you, sandblast at least this area right here where the cartridge is going to sit. Because if you've got soot in there, the cartridge isn't going to sit right. Now, as you can see, there's a little tiny pinhole right there, and that is a locator pin. Some cartridges will have that pin, some will not. That's why you marked rotation. And you're going to take your turbo. Here's your center section. And you're going to carefully set it down in there. Try not to bang the wheels up. And it'll go in and it'll lock in. Now on this one, I've got a pin dot over here somewhere. And I'll find it, and that'll mark our rotation. We'll put the band clamp on and tighten it down. And then your turbo itself is all together. After that, we're going to show you how to put the wastegate actuator on. And it's going to connect right here to a little shaft. In fact, here's your wastegate. It's got a couple bowl holes up here. Now this will not, if you don't have your rotation right, this will not meet up with this. So make sure that's where you gotta have your rotation. It's very important. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the band clamp on, make sure it's rotated correctly, and then we'll show you how to put the actuator on, and for the most part, you will be done. Okay, next we're gonna finish things up by putting the wastegate actuator on. It's your wastegate actuator. It's got a diaphragm inside it and a big spring. When turbo pressure builds up, it pushes air into here, pushes this down, opens up the wastegate, allows exhaust to escape and slow the turbo down so you don't overboost your engine. Pretty easy to put on, pretty self-explanatory. Loop it onto there. And get these over here. It's gonna be a little tight. I'm gonna get these two bolts in here. If I can manage to get them in. But you're gonna put those two bolts in, and you're gonna take this tiny, tiny little clip. It's gonna go right there, and you're gonna take a pair of pliers and just kind of get it on there. Tighten up these bolts, and your turbo is done and ready to be installed onto the vehicle.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you feel a little bit more informed. Thank you so much for viewing. Please give me a subscribe, click the notifications. Remember, if any other person can do it, you can do it too. Don't be the next to them, be the first to you. God bless and have a great day.